to go see
What?
previous shows.
We're live.
Hi. Welcome, live people.
Swatty Cup.
Thanks for watching.
Jesus Christ.
This is TV Tuesday from Hollywood Matrimony. Make sure you check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Thank you for watching us right now exclusively on the YouTube, or as my people would say, El YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. I'm not. I'm going to the channel.
Yeah, but don't go on the channel. Get off the channel.
No, I want to go see something. Anyways, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, the Twitters.
I gotta go check something.
All these things. There you go.
While you're talking, I gotta check something on our channel now that I just noticed on yours because it's not shouldn't be doing that still.
Well, I don't know what it is doing, so I'm just gonna be
oblivious. I deleted that. I'm gonna have to go fix that now.
Okay. Well, not right now.
I know.
I'm looking for our last TV Tuesday.
For why?
To make sure I don't talk about the same thing I already talked about. Here it is.
Who cares?
I know nobody cares.
Nothing you talk about says that we're just sitting on the show on our phones.
That's true. No one's even gonna care.
Nobody's even watching this show.
So, like when I say I don't like somebody's face, they're never gonna know. It'll be okay. I can go through my whole life not liking Mindy Moore's face, and it'll.
I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt as I wore on my other show yesterday.
Oh, I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt.
Because I just put it on for the show yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Then I took it back off, but then I actually wore the shirt today.
Hmm.
And now I realized 2 days in a row, now people are going to think I'm just dirty.
That's all you do.
I just wear the same show every day.
Over and over.
It is a cool shirt, though.
Anyway, so it's TV Tuesday. So we're going to talk about the latest in TV shows and news and things. All right. What have you been watching this week?
Well, I've got a couple of things, actually. Ashley.
Who's Ashley?
First, I watched this cool box set for Ultraman.
Ultraman.
That Mill Creek Entertainment put out.
I don't know if that's what it sounds like, but that's what it sounds like.
That's not the way it sounds like at all.
Ultraman.
But what's funny about this is if you get this set, it's the complete series of Ultraman, but on the side it says Series 2. So then it becomes confusing. Well, in reality, each series was actually called something different.
Oh.
So season 1 was Ultra Q.
Okay.
Which then they restructured. I believe it was a black and white series. And then they retooled it and created Ultraman. And then the next one, I think, was like Ultra 7. Then they did a Return of Ultraman and went back to the originals kind of stories. But essentially like watching Godzilla, Power Rangers.
Go, Power Ranger.
And all that kind of stuff. So basically the story is there's this alien that crashes on Earth, or it comes in contact or crashes, whatever, and merges with a pilot that crashes. It saves his life, so they merge together. So now when this guy...
They're symbiotes.
Yeah, so now when there's trouble, this guy turns into Ultraman.
Ultraman!
Where he does this. And he shoots like a laser.
Not to be confused with this.
Shoots out there. But he fights the gigantic kaiju-type monsters. And they're all man-in-suit stuff.
Oh, I love... That's the best.
Destroying cities. So it's very much... the best. It's the same time period, too. It was like in the 70s. No, this show was the 60s. 66 to 67 was this series.
Okay.
But this set's pretty cool. It's got a...
Does it feel like you're in the 60s? Or
very much so.
Oh, does it?
It's very old sci-fi. Oh, it's great. It's such a fun show. But what's cool is not only does it have all the episodes of the show, it's got this cool information booklet with it. And if you open the booklet up, first thing you see is Ultraman's crotch.
Nice.
I'm assuming that was a style thing to try to show you how tall Ultraman is. But in reality, you're just looking at his crotch.
Yeah, it's so weird.
But it has a little bit of a history of Ultraman and the guy creating him and his suit and all that kind of stuff. But then you go in there and it has the episode guide, right, which is the normal stuff. Then you get to the back of this book. Excuse me. You get to the back of this book and it has pictures of all the monsters.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it.
It tells you their names, what each one of them is. Emmet Ultraman, like an imitation. Then it also has a thing in here with all the different characters.
Oh, cool.
Little bios of who each one of them is, and then they're all their different weapons and all that kind of stuff. It's a really cool little book, and Mill Creek Entertainment is putting out the entire series history of Ultraman, including all the newer stuff that they've made, the live actions, because they made some live action shows like Power Ranger later. There's an anime version of Ultraman on Netflix right now too. So they're putting out all that stuff so you can get your hands on it. I love this. I loved Ultraman as a kid. It was funny watching the series. I swore I saw way more episodes than this.
That's how it always feels.
But
like.
I think it's because I'm thinking this may not have been the one I saw.
You might have seen the first one.
No, I may have seen Return of Ultraman, which was the later seasons where it went back to the same original style shoot and story. So that may have been the one I was watching, or it could be a mix of episodes from both.
Yeah, from both, and you just.
So who knows? Because when it hit America, who knows?
Well, and I feel like that's the same way, like with the cartoons I used to watch. I feel like I watched it every Saturday, like it was going forever. And then you find out it's just like a season or two.
Well, the original Star Trek was only like 3 seasons. 2
seasons,
but
it feels like it's bigger.
It felt like it was on forever.
It's a huge universe, though. That's
why. But it said this one when it got a license to America, it was on for like 2 decades. So it was watching Saturday mornings. You watch like the gods, or during the days, whatever, or Sundays you watching Godzilla movies, Mothra. You had some Ultraman. But my day was set. I was happy. Kung Fu theater. Kung Fu. My entire childhood was built on Godzilla, Ultraman, and Kung Fu and cartoons.
Did you watch good cartoons?
Did I watch what?
Good cartoons.
Yeah, I didn't watch any crap like Manchi Cheese and stuff that you probably watched.
Manchi Cheese. That's so cute.
What do you classify as a good cartoon?
I don't know. Did you watch?
I was a weird cartoon kid. Like I would watch.
Did you like Woody Woodpecker? And
I did like Woody Woodpecker a lot, but I would watch stuff like the Flintstones and the Jetsons and Scooby Doo. But I hated them. They came
on back to back.
But I didn't like them. Oh. I watched them because, I enjoyed them, but that was
I didn't like the Jetsons. I like Flintstones.
Well, the Jetsons and the Flintstones, it's the same show. It's just one's in the past, one's in the future.
I know.
But I would watch them, but I was always just like.
And you didn't really like Bugs Bunny and all them, did you?
No.
See, and I did.
I didn't. I wasn't a Disney fan. I wasn't a Looney Tunes fan.
Tom and Jerry?
I love Tom and Jerry, but I was all about the Tex Avery stuff. Mm-hmm. I was, Woody Woodpecker, obviously, but I was like
Chili
Droopy Willy? And Screwball Squirrel and Barney Bear.
I like Chili Willy.
Chili Willy was funny, but then.
Who was the guy that's like, exit stage right?
No, that was Snagglepuss. That was part of the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Okay, with
what's his
name? The bear, Yogi Bear, and all
that. See, I hated Yogi. It was just one of those things. Like I would watch every cartoon that I wanted. Of course, then when He-Man and G.I. Joe,
I loved He-Man,
and Thundercats, Transformers, Galaxy Rangers was one of my all-time favorites.
Which Silverhawks. Is this one?
What is that?
The people that were flying and like the girl in the pink suit with the wings.
That would be G-Force or Battle of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets.
Or Gatchaman, the Ninja Science team.
I like.
They were the one they go G-Force, and then it was Mark and Jason, and when we would play outside. It was always somebody had to be Mark, somebody was wanted to be Jason. There was always a fight. Nobody wanted to be the fat guy or the weird gleek or the kid or the girl. They always be Mark and Jason. They were the two leaders. Mark was like the tough guy in the car. Jason was the one flying a little biplane, but he was the leader of the team in the white. So yeah, put it that we would be riding our bicycle.
Well, obviously, I was the girl in the pink.
I would ride my bicycle, and then I'd be like G-force, and then I would like hit the brakes and dive off my bike like you were flying into the thing.
You're dumb.
Yeah, so sometimes it didn't end well. Well. But I also tried Indiana Jones a whip on a branch to try to swing. Let me tell you, it doesn't work.
Don't do that, kids.
Well. Anyway, that was my childhood. So Ultraman, the complete series is available now from Mill Creek on Blu-ray. Just check it out. What's up, Vade?
Are you joining the show?
So what do you got, lady?
What do you have, Vader? So
I was watching
Vader and I started,
Dog Days of Summer.
Vader and I started a new show from Apple TV, which is The Morning Show with Steve Carell. And
I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, and Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston.
I like he's just staring at you.
And it's actually very interesting. Also, I think in light of me just having recently watched Bombshell, which we'll be talking about soon on Hollywood Matrimony Live.
He's determined to make
Are you coming up here?
He's wanting us to move over. Hold on, we got to move over.
Hold on. Okay, get up there.
Go, Vader.
Go, come on. Now he leaves.
Now he leaves.
You joik. Anyway, so The Morning Show, it's about suddenly the show starts and Steve Carell's character is involved in a supposed sexual harassment scandal, and Jennifer Aniston's his co-host and having to deal with how do you go on with the show. And then you have Reese Witherspoon, who's a young go-getter reporter causing problems. I know. And so look at the camera. Anyways. So it's actually really interesting and it's fun and it's witty and it's smart and it has relevant content and issues that it's dealing with. And okay, he's just vlogging.
What is happening? What?
What are you doing?
All right, get down.
Get down, baby, or get up, or sit down. Do something. Anyway, so you should check it out. It's the morning show. It's on Apple TV. It's available now. I just started watching it, so I'm not too far in, but it's really good. And I feel like it's just relevant of everything else that we're seeing.
Cool.
So you should watch it.
That's one of those that I've been hearing mixed things, like, because it looked interesting to me, and then you were talking about how it's good, and I've heard people say it was horrible and it was boring, and
the very first episode. I don't want. Should I tell you?
No, you shouldn't tell anybody.
I mean, just his reaction to what's happening is hilarious and sad at the same time. I'll tell you in a little bit.
Okay.
But I thought it's good. It immediately captures your attention. So,
all right,
check it out. I mean, if you don't like it, that's okay.
It's not okay if you don't like what she likes.
Go watch it.
What's wrong with that dog?
I have no idea. All the animals have been weird today. Anya's been completely ignoring me today, and
she's the sick one.
Yeah. So I don't know why she isolated herself today completely. And then this one's, I don't know what he's doing. Why are you sniffing my ear? Anyways, next show. Maybe so. Next show.
Okay, moving on. One of the other shows I just watched, and it wasn't even. I believe it's the second season, maybe the third season. I don't remember. But it's a show that you can watch any episode you want. There's no rhyme or reason each one, because it's a docuseries called The Toys That Made Us.
Yes.
It's got to be third season because I have the first two seasons on DVD and Blu-ray. But I haven't watched the whole season yet, but I wanted to talk about it because I wanted a specific episode. The first episode of the season, it's all about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And
I heard that last
Eastman
night.
and Laird and them talking. You didn't hear it last night because it was like 3 days ago when I watched it.
Well,
anyway, but it was all about, the show.
I heard it.
The show is about the toys, so it tells about how the history of it getting to the point of making the toys, how the toys got made, their market, how it went up and down, how the property's doing, blah, blah, blah. The very first episode of the series ever was about Star Wars and the whole thing about Kenner. And it's interesting on the deals that were done. But anyway, when the Ninja Turtle episode, it gets to start kind of at the roots of the comic book first, because it was an underground adult comic book first. It wasn't the multicolored, goofy Ninja Turtle cartoon that we know that most fans know of the Turtles. It was a black and white, fairly violent comic, and when they did them in color, all the Ninja Turtles had red bandanas. They were the same.
Mm-hmm.
So all that color stuff happened for the cartoon because they talked about the kids aren't gonna be able to tell them apart. Right. So they had to give different personalities and all this stuff. Anyway,
pizza,
and then like stuff like Bebop and Rocksteady were created just for the cartoon, even though they're like big staples of the property now. But it kind of talks about the rise and all this stuff. And Eastman and Laird, the creators, they worked on it forever, and then it got to the point to where it did the movies and it did all this stuff, and then it fell apart for them. They had a falling out, basically over when they did the I think it was called The Last Mutation. It was a TV series, and it was capitalizing on the boom of Power Rangers.
This dog is eating his foot.
That's fine.
He has his entire foot in his mouth.
That's fine. It was capitalizing on the popularity of Power Rangers at the time. And they went to Saban Entertainment, who was doing Power Rangers.
Right.
So they created a TV series that the Turtles look similar to the live action movies, right? Well, in the middle of the thing, they wanted to create a female turtle. And they did. Her name was Venus de Milo.
Okay.
And there was an argument between the two guys. No, we're not doing that. And they was like, yeah, that could be, And I don't know if that was the extent of the argument, but essentially one of them basically stepped away. I think it was Eastman. He's basically sold his side of it or gave up his portion or however it went and left the property. So then it caused rifts. And so they haven't talked. I don't know if they didn't talk. I don't think they had talked much, but they definitely haven't worked together in decades, right? Or done anything with each other.
Yeah.
And it got a little darker because in Laird sold one of the agreements they always had with all their contracts was that they always had final say so on anything that was done with the property. So whether it was with Nickelodeon or whoever, it was always them. And years later, when he left, it was under the agreement the guy was going to not let anything ever happen to the property, blah, blah, blah.
And
then Nickelodeon came a knocking.
Yep.
And I think they paid him, I want to say it was like $60 million for the property, or $6 million. I think it was $60 million. And of course, the other guy got none of it because he wasn't part of it
Yeah,
anymore.
not anymore.
So that was a little bit of a contention.
That's sad.
But anyway, I could go on and on about the story, but what was so amazing, and I posted on Facebook, so anybody that knows me that has already seen this, the end of the episode, they brought the two guys back together at the original Mirage Studios for the first time in God knows how long. Wow. And the first scene when you see them together, I'm going to spoil this because it's you have to see it. If you don't care about Ninja Turtles, it doesn't matter. But I was like, it was kind of, it's like seeing Avengers Endgame or the new Star Wars movies. It's like stuff we never thought you'd see again. Mm-hmm. It shows these two guys, and the first time they see each other, they basically embrace and a hug. Oh, it didn't come in like, and they start talking about how it was a different time and they were younger and they were, the fame got to them and this and that, and they had disagreements. We don't even know why we were still mad and blah, blah, blah. And
that's always the way.
One of the last scenes of the episode, because they started walking around and talking about all this stuff. One of the last scenes of the episode is them sitting side by side, drawing together and talking and laughing. And it kind of cuts to it. And I took a screen cap that I had to take it
babe,
and post it. Like
sweet.
That right there, that moment was a moment I never thought I'd ever hear about either or see it ever again. And these two guys, forget being happy, forget being friends, see them drawing side by side. And they were both drawing a Ninja Turtle at the same time. So it was a really cool thing. So that's the kind of thing the show does. It does stuff about He-Man and Ninja Turtles and Star Wars and Barbie and My Little Pony and Rainbow Bride and anything you can think of they talk about. So it's on Netflix now. I believe it's season 3 of The Toys That Made Us.
And then, interestingly enough, have you seen the other show that's the movies that made us?
I was going to bring it up. I've not watched it yet.
Cool.
Have you started it?
No, I just watched the trailer. I was like, hey, this is like for us.
It's the same show, and they talk about Ghostbusters.
Because I wasn't super into toys. All I ever had were Barbies.
Well, here's what's cool about the Toy That Made Us.
I think I'm into the movies.
Here's what's cool about the Toys That Made Us. You don't have to be into the toys.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a history of the property.
Yeah, no, I watched a couple of the first seasons.
So
it was interesting.
If you played with the toy, or say, like, if you're just a Star Wars fan and don't care about collecting toys, but you like the movies, or same thing with like Transformers, you like the Transformers movies.
Robots and
whatever it is.
Bomb week, ground week, Ninny Bomb.
Like, or if you're just a fan of the
that's right.
He-Man cartoon but didn't care about collecting toys, it gives the history of the design of the characters and how it evolved and the different elements and who was involved. Because here's what's crazy is I watched the Power Rangers episode as well.
Yeah.
Right? And I learned something I never knew about. A lot of hardcore Power Ranger fans probably know this, but I didn't know this. The original, all the Power Ranger stuff, the Sentai stuff, which is Japanese stuff, has been around since like the 70s.
Yeah.
Right? And there was a lady who, I don't remember which channel she worked for now. I think it was Fox Kids, because that's who ended up putting out Power Rangers. But I think she was like a salesperson. I don't remember what she was. Anyway, she was friends with Stan Lee. And somebody had brought this thing to her, whatever, or Stan Lee brought it to her because he loved it. And they tried to get the Power Ranger show on years earlier, her and Stan Lee. And it didn't happen. Everybody said, no, this is stupid. We're not doing this. How do you make a show around this? So then years later, Saban got it, shopped at every network, said, no, it's stupid. We're not doing this.
Yeah, he did it himself.
And, well, no, he had done it, but he had to find a network. So
his story is interesting.
But he gets back to Fox Kids, right? Now that lady is in charge. And he says, I want to show you this. And she watches, she goes, oh, I know this. And he goes, you do? She goes, I love this. And so then it was about convincing them to be able to put the pilot together. And she ended up, to get the original pilot done, because they were saying they wouldn't give you money or whatever, they finally agreed to give him like $1 million or something to make the pilot. But he told her, if this doesn't work, it's your job. And so she put her whole job on the line to make the first Power Rangers episode, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And then, of course, obviously, it became the empire that it is today. Saban even at one point had sold the whole thing off to Disney. Then Disney kind of ran it into the ground, and it started falling. And so Saban bought it back, and now it's back to what it is again. So anyway, so moving on. So the movies that made us, the ones I haven't started yet, but I was gonna bring that up to see if you had heard about that.
I saw it on Netflix. It popped up on. I was like, wait a minute, this sounds familiar.
So we gotta start watching that.
So
But speaking of Netflix, there is a new sitcom-ish that we ran across purely by accident.
Yes.
While we were cooking.
But I'm so glad that I like that Netflix is like suggesting things.
Well, this one didn't even suggest this. I turned on. We were trying to figure. I was in the kitchen. We have a TV in our kitchen. because we're those people.
Suggested it to me.
Well, but when we started watching, remember we were in there cooking dinner.
Yeah.
And it popped up when I turned on Netflix. It was there, and I said, "Hey, here's some Dennis Quaid show. You want to watch that?" And it's called
like Merry Happy Whatever, and it's a little sitcom. He's a father, and he's trying to take care of his kids, and they're grown up, but he's very particular in the way that he does things, and it has to be his way. And so basically, all of the people that have married his children have their own little club of the in-laws.
They call them the
outlaws.
The outlaws, eventually, yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny. It's a
all the people that married
show.
into the family.
Yeah, it's funny.
And it was funny because it grew on you because you were irritated by the first few
episodes. This guy is a jerk.
He's a jerk. And then as it goes, you get a little in depth. But it was a fun little show.
It was fun. Oh, this is the next Netflix I got to start
And
watching.
it says that what they're supposedly going to do is if it does well enough.
Hopefully watch it.
Each season will probably take on a different holiday.
Mm-hmm.
This was all about Christmas. So it ends with a good finale. So if it doesn't come back, it can be a little miniseries. But if it comes back, they're talking about doing different holidays.
That would be so funny.
Yeah, dealing with Thanksgiving. I'd love to see Thanksgiving, all the cooking and the craziness.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's it called again?
Merry Happy Whatever.
I think it was like what 8, 10 episodes, something like that.
It's a short season, so you could easily get caught up, and it's really good.
And they're only like 30-minute episodes. So
it's really good. Check it out. Go watch it right now. Not right now, but after our show.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about was a new animated series we checked out on DC Universe, Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
They had the first episode, which means the second episode I think should be up
now. Hopefully, we'll have to go look.
I don't remember. Anyway, I am not a Harley Quinn fan.
You are not. You do not like.
I don't like the character.
You don't like the abusive relationship.
Yeah, I don't like the abusive relationship thing with her and Joker. She was fine in the Batman animated series because she was more of a henchman girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been a fan of all the expansion of her character in the comics. Like a lot of stuff in the comics now, she's more of an independent person, but now she's kind of the Deadpool.
She's an independent
She's
woman.
like Deadpool of DC. Like she talks to the camera, she acts goofy, she does weird stuff. It just hasn't worked for me. And again, the character I thought was a throwaway character, which she kind of was in the animated series, and then she became popular and blew up thanks to Bruce Timm and Paul Dini or whatever. So anyway, that being said, I did like Margot Robbie's portrayal of her in Suicide Squad, but I also like Margot Robbie, so it helps. But they have a new animated series, very rated R animated series.
Super.
On DC Universe called Harley Quinn, which you didn't even know about until I told you, hey, you want to watch this?
Sure.
What do you think about, not the show, but are you a fan of Harley Quinn or do you care either way?
I don't really care either way. She's fine. I like all the ladies in DC because, I just do. I think
you like all the single ladies?
All the single ladies. I think I'm in that little universe of things. I think I'm more of a fan of either Catwoman or Ivy, but Harley Quinn's fine. Have no allegiance one way or the other. I liked her in the animated series because we got a little bit of story of her, and this one, it's fine. I was surprised by the F-bombs.
On the new show?
Yes, because I wasn't expecting it. But I guess because we're on cable or...
Well, it's not even that. I think they purposely were trying to create an adult animated series for her because she's a psychopath. Yeah. So I think that watering down the character like that does it injustice. And to say, well, the cussing's not necessary. If you've never seen a psychopath at work, they don't necessarily talk like normal people. Yeah. So they act crazy. And the show is very bloody. It's very violent. And I thought it was a blast.
Yeah.
I really had fun with it. Batman shows up. You got a lot of Poison Ivy stuff. There's even a goofy character that's a play on the Little Shop of Horrors plant. It's kind of stupid, but it adds like that cartoon element.
It's fun.
The Joker's okay in it. I know you didn't like the Joker's voice.
It was weird.
But it's Kaylee Cuoco is Harley Quinn in the show. So there was big articles about how she scrapped her clean penny image for doing this Harley Quinn because of her dropping F-bombs and violence. So, but it's on DC Universe now. It's not DC Universe now. It's called DC Universe.
And it is currently
and it's on there now
available.
But yeah, it's not for kids, just FYI, but you do whatever you want with your children. That's your business.
That's your business.
That's right.
So Harley Quinn wants to raise them.
All right, what else you got, lady?
I'm excited this came out today. I just need to watch it. But it reminded me, but I was busy watching another show, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's the Tiffany Haddish Black Mitzvah special.
Mm-hmm.
It is her 40th birthday celebration. So she's doing like singing, dancing, comedy, a whole extravaganza. And it's called Black Mitzvah because, in case you didn't know, she's part Jewish.
She convert Jewish?
I think that's how she grew up.
Oh.
Because of whatever happened with her life. And she used to do bat mitzvah parties all the time.
Yeah.
Like that was her thing. Is like she would go. She was the hype man. She'd help get people on the dance floor. And it's a crazy story, but it's so interesting.
At Adam Sandler's child's bar mitzvah, they had Adam Levine playing songs.
Oh, wow. I want to have a full bar mitzvah like that. I didn't have anything.
You didn't have a bar mitzvah.
I didn't have a bat mitzvah. I didn't have a quinceañera. I didn't get nothing.
Why don't y'all do the quinceañera? Aren't y'all supposed to do that because you're Mexican?
No, typically it's if you are
Catholic.
Oh,
okay. I didn't know that part of the Catholic religion. I thought it was a Mexican heritage.
It's a little both, but it's traditionally Catholic. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so go check it out, Black Mitzvah.
So I want to ask you
on
this,
Netflix.
Before I go through the news real quick, did you have any other shows? Or is that okay?
Yes, you guys. I'm late to this party, which is surprising because this is one of my favorite movie series. But I'm finally watching the Purge.
I was just fixing to bring that up.
I am on season 2.
That's what I was going to ask you about.
Oh, I'm ready for this last episode.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I don't know for a fact if it's the last episode or not, but yeah, so she hasn't even watched Purge season 1.
I went straight to season 2.
But you don't need to because they're separate story arcs. So if you've ever seen any of our shows, you know that this cycle here always talks about being for the Purge, except for there was one time period where something in the real life happened, and they were trying to purge on the police
officers.
And you suddenly were anti-purge, and you quickly forgot about that. Once the next movie came out, you were back to supporting the Purge again. Yeah. It only takes an hour and a half movie to get her back into supporting the Purge. But here's the thing,
because in reality, if they were, well, I guess I'm torn on that thing.
So in the new season,
I'm so torn, you guys.
If you don't know about the new season, the first season was a Purge night. The new season is giving us a look at something we've never seen before through all the Purge stuff. It's the end of a Purge, the entire year in between, leading into another Purge. So you're getting to see the after effects of how it affects you as an individual or the city, the government, all the different elements that the Purge night causes. And you get to see like sequences.
So
some of the best scenes I thought were great, where they remembered where it would cut to a street, and the street's covered in bodies and stuff because it was after Purge, and you see the people out there scooping up bodies.
Yeah, and then there's an announcement being brought close, like, please do not touch the dead bodies. They could carry diseases. I'm like, well, duh.
I also loved now that you're caught up, I can say something about it. It's not really a spoiler element, but there's a really cool remembrance aspect of people lost in the Purge.
Yes.
So it made it like they're recognizing that these people were killed during the Purge time and still trying to do some kind of a respect factor. And it wasn't just mutilated body, move on. It was, here's what we do. But I can't talk about the other show, but there's an element I was going to ask you about that was kind of messed up.
Well, and the interesting thing, which I guess we had never thought, see, I really love this show.
These are all the things I've been telling you.
This is what you've been telling me, but I never thought.
This show is basically my dialogue I've been having with you since the first Purge.
I know we have a full discussion because I get into movies. We don't just watch movies.
No.
We get into movies and discuss the plausibility of a Purge. But here's the thing that I find so horrible and shady, and it will never change no matter what. That no matter what it is, people will find a way to make money out of it.
Oh yeah, of course.
The government. There's entire like Purge stores. There's Purge costume stores.
There's an element in the season too where it's showing them talking about the new seasons of the Purge mask.
Like here's the new mask.
Were you able to see when you went back to watch it? Did it have the news broadcast? Were you able to watch that?
Yes.
The one that's like the 15-minute special before the episode.
Oh no!
You didn't see that? It's essentially separate. It was right before the premiere came on.
Oh shoot!
Maybe, I'm sure it may be on there, but it might have just been. It was like 15 minutes, and it was like watching like the Today Show. And it's these two ladies, and they're talking about, oh, the Purge is almost over. And the other lady's like, this is my new co-host. So couldn't make it today. And then she like covers her blouse. She's got blood on it. So you would realize she had purged him. and they have somebody out that shows them the latest in the Purge Mask for the new season.
But you can also see how it's evolved. Like
it's
computerized now on trying to track people and find people, and the camera systems of the city are extensive because now we know the Founding Father group is watching. Well, we knew that in the first movie that they're watching.
Well, you know it from the last movie.
Oh,
more than anything.
The last movie where they're doing the cameras. Yeah. So, but then even that, how the government is involved, which we found out in the second movie where they were targeting
the senators and stuff. They used the Purge for assassination attempts.
Yeah, but no, how they were also targeting like poor neighborhoods. Was that?
I think it was part of the first Purge because that's when they were offering them money if you came in there to be purged or whatever.
Yeah, but no, remember too when they were going to the projects.
I think that was all in the first Purge.
Was that? I think that was the second movie.
I don't remember.
Anyways,
we might have to do a marathon now.
We might have to, but it is interesting.
There's the Purge 5 coming this year, so.
And then remember when what's her name was on Aunt May? What's her real name? That movie.
Marissa
Tomei talking about the possible long-term effects. I mean, that has carried on, and that's always been your thing. Is that if someone came after you, it would make you want to go.
Yeah, because this phrase, every action causes a reaction, is true.
Yeah.
If you punch me in the face, what do you think I'm going to do back?
You're going to punch
you back.
And you have a whole year to plan it.
Yeah, which makes it worse because then your whole mindset is thinking about killing somebody, which in turn, depending on your mindset, it's going to either make you want to get the thirst to kill people, or it's going to ruin your whole life because all you can think about is killing somebody, or it's going to make you sick because then you start feeling emotionally guilty for wanting to kill somebody.
That's one of the things I'm glad they did touch on, though, is so you get people of every
There's
aspect.
Like 4 different stories or 3 stories.
You get a different aspect of everyone. People who it turns them crazy, people who isolate themselves. There's like support groups now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
and then the other way you don't think about it, like
together, breaking up.
Yeah, like you think about if you had an affair with somebody, and now that somebody's going to purge you because they want your husband or wife, or they want to purge you because you broke off their affair, or because we can't be together because of this, but then you get murdered because
anything you do can be purge worthy. And then
if you get stuck in a situation that you weren't trying to be, and now you're involved in a purge situation because you made a bad choice or somebody else did something to you or whatever.
Well, and I think we saw that in the very first film. Remember when the guy goes and he's like, you don't want to do this, and the thing goes and he walks away? That person's going to come get you, which we would always say. But then it could be a revenge thing. Like if someone tried to get one of us, hopefully you'd avenge me. I would avenge you. Here's the other thing.
Depends on the life insurance.
Since it is so monetized and socialized and all the cameras and all that, now there's all of these talk shows about it and radio shows about it. And the craziest thing, the lady shows her phone. I don't think it's a spoiler. And she's like, if no one wants to purge you, you're nobody. I'm like, what? Yeah. She's like, oh, I have like 1 million people that have me on their purge list. How is that a good thing? But it's because
you remember there was
you
didn't see last season. Never mind.
No, it becomes the new Twitter. Or
there's
the
a whole.
Whatever.
This is not really a spoiler, but there's a whole element of like the purge cult in the first season.
Yeah.
Of all these people that are going and they volunteered to be purged, and it's part of like a religion.
What was that? Wasn't there something on the bus?
Yeah, that was from the first season, but I think you saw it because I think you watched like the first 2 episodes or something.
Oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous.
But with everything that might seem helpful becomes the extremists and the effects of, because we all have different mindsets. So it's like 2 people going to war. One person comes home normal, the other person comes to PTSD, yet they saw the same things. You know, you never know how it's going to affect you. And that's the problem of opening up major crime or major violent behavior, is violent behavior makes you think violently.
I do like that we got an inside look to what happens the day after the purge, like the cleanup and the bodies and, you know, how we kind of go back to normal. And
well, there's an interesting thing in the first season, which I won't spoil it, but it's a thing of like a situation is happening and the purge ends in the middle of 2 people fighting. And so they stop. So one guy's like, and he's been jacking with people the whole time. And it's like, okay, the purge is over. It's done, man. Everything's good. Like he spends his whole time trying to kill everybody, but then he's like, it's fine. And so now the other guy, I'm not gonna tell you what happened, but the other guy now has to make a decision. You've been trying to torture me and kill me all night. The purge is over, but I now have you here. Do I kill you or do I not? And without telling you what happens, the new season actually touches base on that, on how they deal with what you're doing at the moment, literal moment the purge ends.
Yep.
And how it affects you by law, because if you're committing a crime and the purge ends, like they talk about, well, if so-and-so was not in here doing something, like if I'm stabbing you in the face and I let go of the knife and the purge ends, I'm okay. But I'm still holding the knife and the purge ends, I'm committing murder.
Yep.
So it's like that. That's not in the show, but that's how thin line it falls when it ends.
Well, and the crazy thing now is because of the purge and crime being legal on that day, crimes outside of that day are punished way more severely now.
Yeah, they
so
it's
the
like
whole system has changed.
whatever,
yeah, the system has completely changed. So, it's so crazy. You got to watch The Purge season 2. I think the last episode aired today.
I think it's the last episode, but either way, it's still on. All right.
Check.
So let me just run through some quick news real quick, and then we'll go. This just as a reminder, because we were just watching it just now. Some of this is a little bit older news, but since we didn't do a show last week, I'll tell you anyway. 911 is getting a spinoff series, Lone Star, with Rob Lowe and Liv Tyler. Mm-hmm. It's going to hit television on January 19th.
I'm excited.
Netflix has canceled. That you won't care about this. I don't know if it's a reboot.
Reimagining, retelling.
No.
Another season.
Revival.
Okay.
Of Mystery Science Theater 3000. I know there was tons of fans that were excited about that show. They've canceled it. There's a show on Apple TV. I don't know if it started. Has Servant started yet?
Yes, it's available.
It's
now
an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong show called Servant. I think he's the executive producer. The show barely started. It's already been picked up for a second season. It's barely started. It's about a couple and a doll and very weirdness.
The first 3 episodes are already available now.
On Thanksgiving, most of y'all probably have already seen this, but I would feel irresponsible not telling people, just in case you didn't see it already.
What is it?
Well, you've seen it already too. They did a 4-minute E.T. movie promoting Xfinity, and it's complete with E.T. and Henry Thomas and his family. It's such an awesome little sequel to the original movie. All the Star Wars fans, arms are up. They're super excited, or they're really pissed off, with more people probably being pissed off right now because Last Jedi director Rian Johnson, who also has the hit Knives Out in theaters right now, is wanting to direct some episodes of The Mandalorian in season 2. So some people are saying, let's let him do it. Other people are like, he's already ruined enough Star Wars. So depending on where you start, I'm excited for him to do it, because everything he did before, and obviously with Knives Out after, has been great. I love The Last Jedi, but I get people, whatever. This weekend, December 8th, kicks off the most anticipated crossover series yet with Crisis on Infinite Earth. The Arrowverse crossover that brings together the Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow and The Flash and Supergirl and Batwoman, and for the first time ever, Black Lightning, are all coming together, complete with appearances from Tom Welling and John Wesley Shipp back as Flash, and Brandon Routh taking on the role of Superman again. Everybody. Other people. And they just dropped a trailer, which I was going to show you, because I know you won't be able to watch the crossover because you're so far behind.
I'm so far behind.
You may should just watch the crossover anyway, just because, why not? But you might not understand some stuff going on, but whatever. They debuted, this is such a big deal for the Batman universe. They debuted a trailer, the final trailer for this crossover, and there's a sequence where it shows Batwoman, and I guess whoever she's with, come in, and she's like, Bruce? And a guy comes down the stairs. He's wearing almost like a robotic suit, like his back has been broken or he's been beat up. And he is played by Kevin Conroy for the first time ever. He voiced Batman on the Batman animated series. He is playing the live action version of Bruce Wayne.
Oh my gosh.
So he's the old version.
He to me is Batman.
That's how most people think.
Yes.
So that was the biggest excitement of that, finding out, everybody knowing he's going to be in it. But this was our first glimpse of him.
So excited for him.
And lastly, some really, really cool news. I wasn't overly excited. I had to open it up on my phone so I can read you what it's about.
Okay.
And I have it ready. Unlike her, I'm ready.
Wow.
So they just announced for Disney Plus, next year they're doing a new game show called the Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge.
Right.
And it's a kids game show.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to read you the synopsis of it, and then I'm going to tell you what I think is the most awesome news of all.
Okay.
So it says, let's start again. An exciting new Disney Plus game show set in a galaxy far, far away will test young contestants' abilities in the core Jedi principles of strength, knowledge, and bravery as they face thrilling and fun obstacles in an attempt to achieve the rank of Jedi Knight.
Okay.
From lightsabers to hyperspace, the Force and the dark side, Jedi attempt a challenge that transports viewers and contestants in the Star Wars galaxy like before, blah, 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 blah. Here's the most awesomest thing.
Okay.
Is the host. The host, they say, brings a unique set of skills as an actor, dancer, martial arts expert, Star Wars fan, and a stunt musician, none other than Jar Jar Binks himself. Ahmed Best is hosting the show, which I think is the awesome thing. He is going to be playing, he said he will play a Jedi Master and a mentor.
That is so cool. I'm so happy for him.
So with all the stuff that he went through, from the hate that he got spread, and that most people don't know, if you've ever not seen it, go look up Ahmed Best. Video on YouTube. It's a heartbreaking thing about him almost committing suicide, all based because of his Star Wars fandom that attacked him back in the day. So I'm super stoked. I saw a quote from him talking about that through everything he's ever been through, the love of fans, I think, has still always been there.
Because when we were at Celebration this last year, his line was like zigzag.
That was his second celebration since 1999.
The whole time.
Yeah, and I had been saying it from day one.
Yep.
That if he ever did his convention, he would have the longest line. Because no matter how much people talk trash, they want that autograph.
They do.
And he showed up at Celebration. He got a standing ovation at Celebration. He got the love. He said people proposed in front of him. People brought him pictures. People gave him gifts. It was the biggest thing. So hopefully that won't be the last time. Because I already had his autograph from years ago, but I haven't met him in person. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. But anyway, I was super excited to hear that he's going to be hosting it. I wasn't overly excited about watching the show, the kids' game show. But now
I'll watch it.
I'll be watching it just to support him.
Cool.
And I guess that's going to be it for now.
That's it. Awesome.
I apologize, as always, we didn't get to Gymkhana.
Vader's ready to hit the road, so we're going to go. Thank you so much for watching this episode of TV Tuesday. Make sure you check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. You can find us always here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter.
Excuse me. And don't forget to join us on Sunday for another episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live, right here on our YouTube channel, as well as over on the Facebook. And then a circle back here on Monday for all new episode of Martial Arts Movie Mondays. This past week, yesterday, I talked about Equilibrium starring Christian Bale while wearing the exact same shirt. So this Sunday, I promise to wear a different shirt. And then we're back for another episode of TV Tuesdays next week. Hopefully, we'll be back to our daytime showing.
Yes, we're trying real hard.
But don't forget to hit the subscribe button here. Hit the subscribe button up there. Pay attention to whatever's playing there. It's probably the new Black Widow trailer. And make sure you share out our stuff. The more likes we get, the more stuff we have to give to you in our contest. And we want to give you all that kind of stuff that you love.
All right.
So we will see you next week or next time. Thank you. Be nice to one another.
Bye, guys.